How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to do a little cooking. We're going to make some awesome smoked baked beans. These are super easy to make, but they are super tasty. If you like to do barbecue or anything on the grill or smoker, these are going to go really well with it. Going to have just a tiny little bit of heat, but a whole lot of sweet and a whole lot of good smoky barbecue flavor. So stick around, you're not going to want to miss this one. So the most important part of baked beans is going to be the beans. So we're going to do 2 of these big cans of Bush's Original. You can get cheaper baked beans, but I've found that if you go with the cheaper ones, sometimes you'll get some harder beans and stuff like that. Bush's is always pretty consistent and always has a pretty good flavor, so we're going to start with them. So you definitely want to go ahead and try to drain as much of the juice out as you can, because we're putting stuff in here that's got a lot of moisture already. Put them in there as dry as possible from the get-go. It's going to save you a lot of mess down the road. Now, depending on how many people that you're going to be cooking for, you can always cut this recipe in half. So I'm using one of these aluminum foil pans. I guess it's like a 9x13 or so. Now, a lot of beans, obviously. If you don't need that many, cut this recipe in half. If you're gonna run the smoker though, you might as well go ahead and get your best bang for your buck and cook as much as you can in this pan. Worst case scenario, if there's any leftover, throw it in some freezer bags, freeze it. It's gonna be really good. Just reheat it on the stove. It's gonna taste perfect. So the next thing we're gonna add is about a half of a large onion. Doesn't really matter, sweet onions are fine. We're also gonna do about I would say 1 large bell pepper, medium bell pepper, just kind of depends on. You're not really gonna get a lot of flavor from it. What I like is the green, adds a little bit of color to it, kind of has that more of a barbecue look to it. You look at it and you think, oh, there might be some spice in this, which, like I said, it's not spicy, but you know that it's gonna have some flavor when you see the onions and the green peppers. It's more of a presentation thing. Next thing, to keep everything nice and sweet, we're gonna do about a cup of brown sugar. We're gonna put a little yellow mustard in, not a ton, just enough to cover the top there. It's gonna be plenty. Now this is the part where you can either add it, you don't have to. The chili sauce, depending on what kind of barbecue sauce you're gonna do, really is gonna get overpowered by the barbecue sauce usually. So a good option, if you want to just leave out barbecue sauce altogether, is to go with just this chili sauce. You're still going to get some smoky, good flavor out of your smoker, obviously, but this is a good option if you don't want to use barbecue sauce. I'm actually not going to use it today. I'm just going to use barbecue sauce only, because there's going to be plenty of moisture, plenty of liquid, and I think the barbecue sauce is just going to overpower the chili sauce. So I think it's just going to be a waste to put this in here, but that is an option. So at this point, I'm going to go ahead and turn my smoker on. I'm using the Pit Boss 820 Deluxe. Go ahead and get that thing fired up. That way, once this is all done, we'll be able to throw it on there and get it cooking. So next, we're going to do the barbecue sauce. This is where a lot of your flavor is going to come from. It's going to kind of determine which route you're going flavor-wise, whether you're going for a spicy, a super sweet, something in the middle. So today, I'm going to be using the Tacticalories Candy Apple Whiskey Barbecue Sauce. It's awesome. It's got a little bit of spice to it, but it's mostly just super sweet. It's awesome on ribs. It's good on pulled pork. It's a good all-around sauce if you like super sweet sauces. That's what we're going for today with these baked beans, just because not everybody likes a lot of spice. I do personally, but I also like this super sweet stuff too. So we're going to do the Tacticalories Candy Apple Whiskey Barbecue Sauce. Go ahead and use the scraper on that, because we don't want to waste any of that. I can see behind me I got a little smoke rolling. I'm going to go ahead and turn this up to 250. Remember, these beans are already cooked, so we don't have to cook them. What we want is flavor and heat. That's all we need. We need the heat to combine everything. We need the smoke to roll over to give it a nice smoky flavor. So we're going to run it about 250 for about 3 hours. That's going to get a good simmer on it, and it's going to get a lot of smoky flavor in there. So we're going to turn it up now. Alright, so while that's coming up to temperature, the next thing we're going to do is add a seasoning of some kind. So this is where you're going to use your favorite dry rubs or seasonings. To kind of keep on the whole spicy and sweet kick, we're going to do the Tacticalories Hand Cannon, which is a honey habanero mix. Obviously habanero, it's got a little spice to it, but it's also super sweet too. So the honey habanero with the Hand Cannon from Tacticalories is great. It's awesome on ribs as well. So this combo of candy apple whiskey and Hand Cannon is like the best thing ever on ribs. So we're gonna do that on these baked beans because the next meal that I'm putting on the pit boss is in fact ribs, so it's gonna go really well together. So we're gonna go ahead and put some of that on there now. And again, this stuff is not overly spicy, so don't be afraid to put enough on there to get some good flavor. Now, the last thing that we're gonna add to this before we mix it all together is any leftover smoked meats that you have. So brisket, pulled pork, bits and pieces of rib meat, whatever you want to throw in this is a great way to get rid of it. Now, obviously, I like to keep some pulled pork and stuff to make sandwiches out of and everything, but you throw it in these baked beans and it really puts it over the top. Not only does it give it that extra little bit of smoky flavor from that meat that's already been smoked, but it's also giving you a little bit different texture in there as well. So that's what we're going to do. We've got about a half a pound of pulled pork left over from Christmas, so we're going to scrape that in there. We're going to get this all mixed together. Alright, so that's everything we're going to put in this. I'm going to mix it all together. We're going to throw it on the smoker for about 3 hours, and it's going to come out really nice. Just try to get that mixed up as good as you possibly can. As it cooks, it's going to mix on its own, and it's also going to get easier to mix by hand. Right now, I mean, this thing is obviously just loaded to the max, which is a good thing. Like I said, we're using all of our real estate as far as this pan goes. As this cooks down, it's going to be less and less. So, of course, a lot of that liquid's going to evaporate out. But this is going to be some tasty, tasty stuff. So that'll be good enough for now. We'll leave it just like this for about an hour, and then we'll check on it again and see what it looks like and give it another stir. All right, so just as the rain's starting to fall down, we're going to go ahead and throw this on here. Get a good grip on it because this is honestly a pretty heavy dish. We're looking at, I would say, 7 or 8 pounds of baked bean right there. So we'll set it in there, check it on in an hour. All right, so these beans have been on the smoker now for about an hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes. I have stirred them one time, but it is about to be dark soon, so rather than showing you what the final product looks like using a headlamp or something, we're gonna go ahead and pull them off now, show you what they're looking like, give them a little taste test as of right now, but just know that ultimately we're gonna take these about 3 hours at 250. We're gonna want them to simmer for a good solid hour of that, just kind of simmering and kind of getting all those flavors combined. Of course, the longer you go, the more smoke flavor is going to get in there as well. But let's see what they're looking like right now. A little too hot for bare hands. That is just pounds and pounds of goodness. Kind of smells like the veggie station at Subway, not gonna lie. All right, so as you can see, it's starting to break down pretty good in there. Definitely needs a little bit more time, but man, the smells that's coming off of this stuff is amazing. Really smell the pepper and onion. Color's starting to look good too. After it sets in there, kind of gets that kind of glaze looked over it. A lot of that's coming from that brown sugar. So we're gonna keep these cooking. Obviously we want all the vegetables to get tender, so that's really gonna be, for me, the stopping point. Once the vegetables are tender, it'll be ready to pull off. But as of right now, it's looking really good. We can go ahead and give it a little taste. Obviously, we want to try some with a little bit of pork in there. We'll get a little bit of that pepper too, because how are you going to know if the vegetables are done if you don't try them? Okay, so right away I can tell that the flavor is going to be really good, but the vegetables definitely need a little bit longer. Still got a little bit of a crunch to them. So we'll put it back on there, keep it at 250, let it simmer for ideally about an hour, and it'll be done, and it's gonna taste awesome. So hey y'all, if you have a smoker or a grill, definitely try this recipe. Like I said, it's super simple. I mean, there's really no way you can mess it up. I mean, you're just putting good flavors in good stuff. It's gonna taste good regardless. When you put these beans on a plate or in a bowl, it has really good color with the green peppers in there and that like really mahogany to burgundy color from the pork and the sauces in there. It looks really good, really appetizing. So definitely give it a try. If you like this video or you want to see more cooking videos, hit like, subscribe to the channel if you all haven't already. Until next time, y'all have a good one.